Russell. I'm Lauren
Hi,
Lola.
hello again, Lauren.
Yeah, yeah, I'm Lauren Lola from the Nerds of Color in the US. Very excited to talk to you one-on-one about this new era of
Thank you.
Doctor Who we're entering.
I'm excited. Thank you for covering us. It's appreciated.
Of course, it's my pleasure. Let's get into it. So obviously, this isn't your first rodeo in the universe. How has being the showrunner for this time around been like compared to when you were the showrunner back in the 2000s?
Well, I'm a little bit wiser. I know the systems a little bit more. This time I got an office. Can you believe I did the whole of the original Doctor Who in 2005 to 2010 without an office? I used to perch in other people's offices. That's how little money we had in those days. I had no office. I had
Wow.
to sit with everyone going to and fro. And so one of my first conditions this time was like, can I have an office, please? It got to be said in 2005, we were very much making it up as we went along. But I also came back to it because it's all new. I felt I've been doing a lot of domestic dramas. I mean, most drama ever made is domestic. And in the intervening years, I've done things like It's a Sin, which went out on HBO in America. But you don't get to work with special effects in that stuff. And I love that. I'm a very big comic book fan. I'm a science fiction fan. I'm a franchise fan. I love those visuals. And I'd felt out of touch with how to make modern effects. In the old days, I could, if you'd asked me to lose £100,000 off an effects budget, I could have done it in 3 minutes. But I'd really lost touch with that. And I love learning that stuff. I love listening to our experts in CG and green screen and LED screens and stuff. So I love that. So I threw myself into that. But in many ways, it's also not a different job. I still sit there with it. I think when you're a writer, nothing changes. Actually, when you're a producer, nothing changes. You've just got to finish by 8 o'clock that night. You're always up against the clock. But for a writer, it's still about the script, how to get across what you want to say, how to make the Doctor and Ruby appear wonderful on the page and to find different things for them to do. So that never changes. But that's why I'm a writer, because every script is brand new and every script is different. So that never becomes boring.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can also imagine that having a higher budget will definitely spoof up the special effects that you're so glad to
Yes.
return to, I can imagine.
Yes, which has been, and I think the show deserves it. I think it's up there with all the other franchises. I think it deserves to look more handsome. I'm also very proud of the way we spent that money because, I think people just expected to see lots more spaceships. Whereas I think we've been really inventive with it. There's one of the opening episodes is called Space Babies, which is a space station being run by babies who glide about in their strollers and can talk. And
Yeah.
so the CGI mouths and timing that up was an awful lot of work. That took people months and months and months of work. But I'm pleased to spend money in those areas. I think it's more original.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
And with Ncuti and Millie have been wonderful as Doctor and Companion so far. And it's so interesting when you think about the fact that they're both old enough to have grown up with the 2005 reboot.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have them take the wheel at the start of this new era for the series?
Oh, it's very important. I love their youth. I wanted a Doctor Who that felt young, and when I was very young in my career, a very wise British writer called Kay Mellor said, she said, beware. She said, your characters will get older as you get older. And that's a woman who'd had her first child at the age of 16, and she knew what's what. I loved Kay. She sadly passed away quite recently. She was a titan of British television, and that's a piece of advice I always remembered, which is not to write about people in their 60s just because you're 60, to keep an eye on what's happening in the world, because actually the younger generation is the engine that'll drive society. So when you find Ncuti, who's only 30, and especially when you find Millie, who's only 19, who must have been 18, I think, when she came into the audition, really decides what the program is, and they fill it full of that energy and youth and joy. And I find that so attractive and so exciting, and I feel like I'm holding onto their coattails. They're taking me along for the ride, not the other way around. I feel like they're in charge, and they set the tone and the pace and the joy and the extremity of it, and that's a really nice position to be in as a program maker.
I imagine that. And again, going back to earlier, I'm a millennial. I'm 8 months older than Ncuti. And so,
Wow.
getting to come along with them for the ride just feels like hanging out with two friends.
Great, and we'll all be made to feel old by Generation Alpha next. It stops.
Oh man, I don't know if I'll be right for that. But for the sake of time, those are all the questions I have for you, Russell. Thank you so much, and
Thank
congratulations
you.
on Doctor Who.
Oh, I want to appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Directors, comments and the lectures, fanboys, professional artists and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock life, comics, movies, and TV.